Moto2 starts its Asia routine in 2025 as we head to the twin-win Motegi in Japan. Welcome to round 17 of the season. Let's head down to the grid and join Susie, Michael and Neil.
In every single session, then suddenly qualifying came and it looked like the veins were standing out on the neck and frustrated.
Yeah, he didn't do a lot wrong. The real genuine issue was he left pit lane and everyone knew he was the fastest man. So there were people waiting for him, there were people looking over. So on his fastest lap, to pass maybe 6 to 7 riders. Obviously, they were on their limit. But what happens is you approach a corner and they're on the outside, offline, but you never know deep down if they're going to turn in. So you it makes you ever so slightly hesitant, and that's why Jake ended up qualifying 6th in the end, wasn't he?
He's 6th, yeah. So it completes that second row, but you have to think that he's got much more than that in the tank from what he's shown this weekend.
Yeah, he's looked so good in every scenario, in the cooler conditions in the morning, in the hotter conditions in the afternoon. He's able to set a good rhythm, good one-lap pace, and it doesn't seem like tyre wear is going to be an issue today, but it is a super soft tyre this weekend from Pirelli. So managing that, using it at the optimum time in the race is something Jake does so well. I think he's got a realistic shot at victory today. He just needs to get a good start and keep calm in those first corners, get through cleanly and get into his rhythm that he's shown all weekend.
It's Manu Gonzalez in pole position at €500 lighter than he was at the start of the weekend, having got a fine yesterday for just going over the pit lane before it opened. But he starts top, and he's been so supreme this year.
Yeah, all year he's been class, and this weekend he's been class. He's built his way into it. Not the fastest really on day one, but worked out how to attack this track. He's the man to beat. Stating the obvious, he starts on pole, but I'm thinking more for Jake Dixon. What Jake doesn't need, if Jake needs to get a good start, because if Manu gets a good start and leads it, he's got the pace to check out. Your two rookies and teammates of Algado and Alonso have been super impressive to get on the front row. I don't know if they've got the same pace. I don't know if that was a one-lap hold your breath. I'm not too sure. Algado struggled a bit this weekend, but ended up in the middle. Well, ended up qualifying 2nd.
Well, you mentioned Alonso there. He's directly ahead of Jake Dixon. So do you spell out that scenario?
Yeah, this is a David Alonso track. I just see the hard braking zone's been perfect for him. He's been in the mix all weekend, hovering inside the top 10, which is quite unusual for him. This year he's had to work hard as a rookie. Every track's brand new for him, and he figures things out, gets there in terms of race pace, but sometimes a little too late. So front row start for David Alonso means it's game on. He's going to light up this race without a doubt.
And Manu Gonzalez, we were just looking at in pole position there. We're looking now at Danny Algado, who goes 2nd, having a great season as well. But for Manu, you know, he has, you know, he can almost taste that championship, can't he? Yeah,
he can, and you know, he's controlled it so well. He's taken the wins when he's needed to, and he's taken the 3rd, 4th, sometimes, like I say, off the podium. It's been a clash year. He's had a bit of bad luck. If you remember, he had the was it Austria where he had the hold radio. His radio wasn't working. The hold radio.
You're not listening to radio.
I'm still jet lagged, Susie. I've been here for 3 weeks.
You normally are for about 5 weeks.
Yeah, so he's had a bit of bad luck there, but from the riding side of it for Gonzalez has been outstanding. So I think this is one he thinks he can nick. This is one that I think he'll be going for the victory here, because if he does, then it's like it's literally one hand on the title.
And we just saw a flash of Celli Vietti there, and just talk about him again because it was so loud when we were talking about him before. But that confidence, you know, moving forward from that lovely victory last time out in Misano, he's a great character. He's actually one of the more friendly riders, really. He always says hello, doesn't he? Stops the chat. Great kid, and putting it all together now.
Yeah, lovely kid. Will renew with the team again next season, which is good for his confidence. In terms of the stability over the later rounds of the season, he had the victory in Austria, then again last time out in Misano. It has been a little up and down, but this is one track where I think he can make it work because the Bosco is working well. We heard from Luca there that he's adapted his riding style. He's got confidence at the moment. They believe in him. So, yeah, I think Celestino could have a good race here from the 2nd row of the grid, and yeah, he looks good.
Well, I spoke to Luca about Vietti, and he said his problem is he's too sensitive. He's always searching a perfect bike. And as we know, sometimes you can't get a perfect bike. And if you give Vietti the perfect feeling, he'll go out and win for you. If you don't, he could be 12th. And he said it annoys him as a team owner, but that's what they're trying to work out, trying to fix for him.
That's the difference, isn't it, between being great and being incredible, being able to do that. Right, let's go to pole position then. Nat is talking to Manu Gonzalez.
Manu back on pole position, and I'm sure you need that bonus after the finally picked up yesterday. Are you just hoping it stays dry for this one?
Yeah, I'm super happy to be back on the pole. I think we are in a situation where we were missing many races ago. But yeah, I think I'm feeling great with the bike in this track. The bike is working well. The team put a really good setting for the slow corners here. That is very, very important. Yeah, many riders are strong. They are closed with the slipstream. They can stay behind, but I think I will have to put my own pace, try to get first place, and then do my own race, lap by lap, not pushing over the limit. I think we have a good speed and try to use the head as always. We still have some races to go. We need to finish in the podium and continue race by race, but we will be pushing today strong.
Thanks, Manu.
Thank you.
It's not every cliche you could ever say on the front row. Take race by race, going to push it. Funny, made me smile that.
He'll be making the fans smile if he does well out there, won't he? Ayumi Sasaki goes from the third row from the middle.
He's been brilliant this weekend. A couple of unfortunate crashes have possibly left him a little bit further down on the grid, but yeah, he was second quickest in practice in mine, Jake Dixon. He's looked good, he's fired up in front of his home fans, and yeah, things are working well for him in the Calex with the RW Racing team here this weekend, so it'll be nice to see Ayumi in the podium battle in this race.
To another Calex user who could well be in the podium battle, David Alonso is talking to Nat.
David, your best qualifying all season. How are you feeling about this race, about tyre life and your pace?
Yeah, for us it's like one training more, like not a race. Try to still get in information, try to get a good feeling. We don't know the pace till the end, but we will push till the finish line and enjoy and be mental focus all the race.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Still gleaning information up until the very last moment. David Alonso, what a guy he is.
He's a sponge into that young man, yeah. And that's basically he's almost taking pressure off himself, and he sat there on the front row. It's still he's in his learning phase. He's already focusing on next year, I think. He's building for that World Championship next year, because it'll be a big year for David Alonso next year. Contract time across the MotoGP grid, essentially for 2027. So if he can start next year good, win a few races, he'll be well, his manager will be getting him a very tasty MotoGP contract.
Needs to make it count, doesn't he? As we look at Tony Arbolino, who's been much better, much stronger this weekend. But let's jump to the second row. Nat is talking to Jake.
Jake, P6 feels out of position from what we've seen. You dominate really all weekend, breaking track records. You must feel confident for this race.
Feel super good. Didn't quite clean the lap yesterday, honestly. But yeah, had great rhythm all weekend, feeling fired up. Yeah, and I'm feeling in the flow. Felt real good then on the out laps, so I'm ready to get stuck in.
Go well, Jake.
Cheers, thank you.
What do you make of that?
I love a Jake interview. You know exactly what he's feeling, because obviously we've seen Jake be interviewed on the grid sometimes, and he can come across a bit negative. If he's stressed, you can feel it. But that was from the heart. That was genuine. And it's so funny, I felt good on the outlap. Let's not forget, these guys don't get a morning warm-up. So the last time they rode was in qualifying yesterday, around about, what's that? About 1:30 p.m. So they've almost not been on the bike for 24 hours. So how you feel on that installation lap, on that outlap, is really important. So just hope he can get the jump off the line, get a good start, because he's a chance of the win today.
Fingers crossed for that, and the crowd will be having their fingers crossed for Ayumu Sasaki. Let's find out what he's got to say.
Ayumi, it's been so great to see you at the top of the timesheets this weekend. Do you feel you can fight your way to the front in this race?
Well, let's see. But it's been a good 2 days. My speed is there. Yesterday I made a small mistake, which we have to learn from. But I feel good, and yeah, let's try to stay with the front guys, and hopefully we can show a great race to Japanese fans.
Enjoy it.
Go on, Ayumu-san. How great would it be to have a Japanese rider on the podium? Just a quick word about Diogo Moreira. We haven't mentioned him, going from the middle of the second row.
Yeah, had a slow weekend as Moreira. We've not hardly talked about him, but got himself in a good position on the grid, and we know Moreira's a Sunday man. He's good on warm tyres. So he'll be just trying to hang on in the opening laps, Moreira, and see if he can nick something near the end.
Is there a key round here for the Moto2 boys?
Be patient. Tyre life will play a part. Lots of slow corners with real hard acceleration, so you can wear the drive part of your tyre out. So it's about being smooth. I'm going to say the first third of the race. Obviously, you've got to brake deep, but let that brake off. Try and carry a bit of roll speed so you can be kinder to that rear tyre.
And for Jake?
Well, Jake's got perfect race pace. It is literally about the first 10 seconds of the race. If he can get the jump, get away, like I said, he has a really good chance of winning this race.
Well, we had a fantastic first offering, didn't we, towards the end in Moto3. What will we get now in Moto2? Michael has gone along to the commentary box to join Gavin. It's Manu Gonzalez in pole position. Let's go, Moto2.
Yeah, thank you, Susie. Here we go then. Moto2 is about to go underway for 19 laps ahead of us on a dampish track with, again, weather just like it was for Moto3 an hour ago. Anything is possible as we get ready to go racing. It's round 17 of the Moto2 World Championship, and this is how they line up. Manuel Gonzalez has position alongside him Daniel Algado and David Alonso. Then it's Justina Vietti, Diego Monrella and Jake Dixon, Barry Boltus and Sasaki and Colin Vire, Isaac Guevara ahead of Tony Alberino and Albert Arenas, Ivan Ortola, Zonta Managerberg and Joe Roberts in 15th, Alonso Lopez 16th from David Munoz ahead then of Philip Salak. Then Marcos Ramirez moves further down with Senna Igas and Adrian Huertas. Aaron Canet, Darren Binder and Alice Escray from Yuki Kuni ahead of Yuri Ordadai and Jorge Navarro. And 28th is Mario Archie at the back of the field. Well, we're all set then. It's close in the championship. Gonzalez leads 227 points to Diego Monrella on 188, level with Aaron Canet. They're both 39 points back after the last couple of races and how it's all turning out. But still, it is Gonzalez on pole position, and he has a chance to get further ahead in today's championship. Let's check in with TNT. Michael and Gav. Michael.
Focused on the job in hand, and he didn't notice the red light. As soon as he went through, he realised, and obviously that was a little too late. So the penalty was handed out, but the pole was in hand. He got the job done, so good in qualifying, and yeah, he's ready for this one.
Weather, I'm going to start with. We had rain during Moto3, and I've just noticed the sun seems to have gone back. The clouds have filled again. There isn't a chance of another shower, is there?
The clouds don't look as big as they did at the start of the Moto3 race, but yeah, you look on the overhead camera here, or the onboard camera, look overhead, the clouds, they are definitely building, and the sun's gone away for a moment. But yeah, I don't think it's going to come to anything. Maybe a few spots like we've seen in Moto3, although those spots did become heavier than we anticipated. So yeah, it will be on the riders' minds. Remember, Moto2 here last year, it was properly rain interrupted, but yeah, I think it's only going to be spots and slick tyres throughout in this one.
Yeah, Manuel Gonzalez won here. It was a restarted race for 12 laps. He went out on slicks on a wet track. If you remember, Jake Dixon was on pole on that occasion and had the wets on. And Gonzalez and Ogura came through bravely for Ogura and came to the line. In terms of the tyres, we saw them drop off back in Misano. What do you predict here? Because they've got the super soft here again.
Yeah, super soft on the rear, soft on the front for the entire grid. But the consumption is an issue, but the tyre, if managed correctly, will easily go the distance here. So yeah, managing over 19 laps will be important, but I don't think we're going to see the banding and tear that we saw in Misano with the temperature and the fact that the left side was a bit cooler around there. I think the tyres are holding up really well this weekend, and they've been impressive in terms of the lap times.
They have indeed. The tension is rising as we welcome you up to the commentary box, ready to go then for the Moto2 Grand Prix of Japan. 19 laps ahead of us. They've completed their warm-up lap. The red flag at the front of the field will be taken away. The green flag is signalled at the back. Gonzalez, Algado and Alonso, the front row, down towards turn 1. It's eyes to the 5 red lights. They'll activate in 3, 2, 1. Lights on. And it's lights out. We're underway here in Motegi. It's a good start coming in from Algado, but brilliant start from Justino Vietti. He's going to have the lead on the outside line down to turn 1. Battling hard as well with Algado. He gets forced down on the inside line by David Alonso. And Gonzalez trying to come back through. Diego Monrella up 4 places in all of that, takes the lead of the race. Fantastic start from Diego Monreal as they come down into the braking zone for turn 3. The first right-hander on the circuit becomes a left-hander. Double in now, and it is Monreal leading from Algado, Alonso, Dixon, Alberino, Guevara, Boltas, Vieje, Gonzalez and Vietti has the top 10. Down into turn 5, right-hander, 90 degree under the tunnel. As they, oh, hang on, big one there. Oh, and there's another one down in the middle of the field as well. 2 riders down in the pack, and it hit the camera as well. David Munoz is down, and somebody else further back. Munoz is off at turn 5, and Zonta van der Gerberg has gone off as well. 2 accidents, and that was a nasty one. It hit the camera and microphone at the side of the circuit. Let's hope everybody's okay. Van der Gerberg's out at turn 5 as well, so we've got crashed out on our monitors. Separate incidents though, that's why the yellow flag's out in sector 2. Down towards turn 11. Diego Moreira leads, Daniel Holgado, David Alonso, Jake Dixon coming in as well in 4th place up 2, Tony Alberino up 5 places as Alberino does now get back ahead of Dixon. So Alberino up 7 coming into that section of the circuit as well. Brilliant start, yellow flag's been removed. I hope everyone's okay down there at turn 5. Let's see, I hope there's no red flag to the day. First lap complete then as they come into turn 1. No sign of rain. I can't see any little bits of flags out there, but it's very similar to what it was an hour ago in the Moto2 race. On the inside this time round, and it's going to be Holgado on the inside in turn 3. He's taken the lead of the race again from Moreira, who's dropped back down. So if the camera is activating now, Tony Alberino's down the order. I think we should be okay. Yep, looks to be okay down at turn 5, which is good news. All the bikes have been cleared. Oh, is that somebody else down? No, good. I thought I heard someone down in the back out of our headset there, but no, everyone is okay. Holgado leading Moreira Alonso as it's shaping to be yet another battle between these two as Jake Dixon slips up the inside of Isaac Guevara, and David Alonso's gone through into 4th place as well. Dixon back up to 5th position. Now he's ahead of David Alonso for 4th position as he's taken through on the inside line. So Dixon moving back up through the field okay. Both riders okay as well for Van der Gerberg and Munoz.
So yeah, a quick response from Jake Dixon in 4th.
Yeah, just from Manuel Gonzalez's point of view, no need to panic at this stage, but has got some riders who've got pace in front of him. I say Jake Dixon in that, but I'll also say Algado.
Apparently there's more rain coming, according to Simon Patterson.
And that's just a little concerning, I'm sure, for Manu.
Yeah, looks like Guevara, he had to back out of that one. A lead move down the inside at turn 11. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Gav. There's a number of riders this weekend with really impressive pace, and those 2 rookies on the Aspar machines, Holgado out front, David Alonso as well, but David's getting beat up a little on this lap.
Yeah, and we'd seen him come back, Manu, 1 from 8th on the grid down back in Mugello, if you remember. But if you do get mired, if you get dropped back in the early stages of the race, it just changes the way it goes in Moto2 this year. I don't know whether it's something with the tyres, I'm not sure, but it just feels like it's a harder proposition than ever before.
Yeah, making those overtakes, that was a little lively on the brakes there into 3. But yeah, both Alonso and Guevara making it through cleanly. Whether it's the Super Soft Pirelli making things so grippy, so fast, new lap records, they're so much faster here this weekend that the margins for difference are really difficult to utilise. With Gonzalez, we've seen it when he qualified down the order at Aragon, only able to crack the top 10 in that race and not able to really impose his pace. So yeah, it changes your race massively. On the first lap you get beat up, mired into the pack a little bit, and how you approach it, it changes now, managing the tyre consumption towards the end.
And Vietti's got pace, and he's right in front of Gonzalez. It's not going to be easy. It's not an easy nut to crack. Chele Vietti, race winner of course, just 2 weeks ago back in Misano. Lap record has been smashed into smithereens by Daniel Algado.
Yeah, it's a 1:48.739. Look at that from Holgado. Absolutely smashed it.
It's now 2 seconds quicker. Daniel Algado, 1:48.7 on that first flyer. It's going to get quicker still.
It is. Look at the gap he's got over Diego Moreira on this lap as well. Previous lap he took 4 tenths out. and he's stretched it another couple of tenths. He's comfortable imposing his pace at the front of the field. This is another look at the start. Good jump from Diogo, looked cleanly off row 2, but Celestino Vietti was on his way through. Just weaves through past Gonzalez, enters on the racing line into turn 1, but Moreira has other ideas from the inside.
Yeah, straight away Gonzalez had a big orange bike right in his face, didn't he? It was an excellent launch from Daniel Algado. Even better from Celestino Vietti. Powers through the gears, but watch Moreira on the inside here. Oh, just a little bit of contact. What happened then was Vietti found Algado right in his face. Unfortunately for Gonzalez, that put him in the danger zone.
Yeah,
so that explains what happened.
Algado was actually on the optimum line. Vietti tried to tuck in behind him, and it looked like the number 10 was arriving for that same piece of tarmac.
Oh, and Senna Igas is out of the race. Yellow flags out in sector 1. Senna Igas he's out down at turn 3, I think it is. Yeah, it is turn 3. He's dipped the front. He's okay and walking back, but Senna Igas is out of the race.
Yeah, difficult weekend for Senna. He's just not got on with this Motegi circuit this season or last, really. It's been a bit of a bogey track for him, and unfortunately, ends up in the gravel today, but he looked to bounce back in a week's time in Indonesia.
Where was it when Daniel Algado did go off early again? Vietti coming back now at Gonzalez. Oh, and onto the green paint for Manu. That's 2 times already in the early stages for Gonzalez. Is this a late move?
Inside line.
He's taken out Vietti.
Vietti's out of the race on the inside line. That was risky. Manuel Gonzalez takes him out in turn number 11, and Vietti is furious with that. And that was risky. Well, that's going to be a long lap penalty, double long lap penalty from Gonzalez. Slipped up the inside, took out Vietti. Let's take a replay of it. So it's on the inside. Gonzalez sends it through and then just completely wipes out Vietti. That is a stupid manoeuvre from Manuel Gonzalez. The man second in the title is going to now get a double long lap penalty. Well, yeah, well, the championship leader, I should say, is going to get a long lap penalty for that one. Unbelievable. That pushes down the order. Let's see. Gap now cutting 27 points, but that championship lead is going to be disintegrating quite quickly.
But yeah, a couple of little indiscretions. That one, obviously, if you've watched the sprint race yesterday, you see that that's a good overtaking opportunity, but it can't get close at the apex. Unfortunately, Manny was a little too late, and Celestino got his handlebar taken completely out. So yeah, that will be a penalty without a doubt.
Here comes Isan Guevara, meanwhile, on David Alonso.
Yeah, he's
gone down. That just shows how treacherous it is out there. Trying to make the move.
Guevara's
turn
down.
5, loses the front. Isan Guevara, again starting the race well. He has slid out of proceedings.
When L3 started.
Turn 5 has been such a crash spot this weekend. It's easy to ask a little too much from the front tyre. Downhill, you see on approach as he tries to pull it back to the apex. The front tyre just cries enough. We've seen Arbolino pull it off earlier in the race really well. On the same rider on David Alonso. You can see that is Gino Borsoy, the team boss down there at the Pramac team, along with Yamaha bosses alongside. Just shows the impetus in that team.
Yeah, Paolo Pavesio there, the Yamaha team director. As we head down, Daniel Algado stretching it out now. 1.8 the gap back to Moreira, who hasn't had the pace all weekend. You'd say Arbolino and Dixon have more pace than the Brazilian here, but as we've already found out this season, Moreira...
Yeah, Vietti and Gonzalez is under investigation for his control. And Joe Roberts is out. Joe Roberts has crashed out in sector 4. Not sure where, but he is out of this race. Guevara's out too. Well, that's an old message. There's Roberts crashed out. There we go. There's the new message. David Munoz is into the pit lane, so that's probably him to retire. But yellow flag's out sector 4. Right, confusing races.
That's the only time really we've seen him this year in those positions. There's Joe Roberts, and that's down the. Is that down at turn 11?
Yeah, maybe a high set at a turn 11 to end up onto the bridge there.
He's on the inside of the track though, by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like the sound of how that might have been for Joe. Hope he's okay.
But as you were saying, Arbolino has turned a corner. This weekend he's looked like the Tony Arbolino of old that we haven't seen for almost a season and a half now since the switch to Pirelli tyres, but he's figured things out finally on the Bosco Scuro chassis. late in the day, 6 rounds remaining, and he will jump back on a Calyx next year. But yeah, good to see Tiger Tony back at
Vietti pits.
Doldrums for a little too long, and he's a quality rider. This is more like him.
It's like Pecco Bagnaia season, isn't it? The way it's gone.
Up and down,
Vietti down into pit lane. Winner 1 week, 2 weeks ago, should I say? And now back in the pits. Danny Algado. He is, even on that last lap, Michael, was 8/10 quicker than Moreira, 8/10 quicker than Arbolino, and 7/10 quicker than Dixon. Is it?
Oh, Gonzalez has only been given a 1 long lap penalty, but he has been given an LOP.
He's got away with it light there to only have a single long lap as well, taking a rider out. And as you mentioned, it depends whether the stewards consider his Silverstone one entirely his fault. It was maybe a little more of a racing incident with Barry Baltus on the day, but yeah, 1 long lap penalty will put him behind Ivan Ortola. It's going to keep him inside the top 10, but it's got work to do, giving away points with Moreira inside the top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now to see where he rejoins. He's got 8/10 to Ortola, as you mentioned. He's not taking it yet, Gonzalez, causing a crash of another rider. The championship leader was hoping to extend his lead, but this will put him behind Ortola. Would it put him behind Arenas, perhaps?
Yeah, I think he's going to join the racetrack alongside Arenas.
Dixon takes third.
Up into the podium spots through on Moreira, who has, as we said, not had the pace all weekend. Dixon has. He has smashed lap records in every session. It was just qualifying, actually, where it didn't move on for him.
Yeah, the problem is Holgado's setting 49.1s, whilst everyone else is mid-49s. 49.6 for Arbolino, and then 49.9 for Jake Dixon. The rest are pretty much a little bit adrift of that. So yeah, Danny Holgado's imposing an impressive pace at the front of the field here, and I do think the tyre will take it all the way to the end. He's a 3-second advantage, and he's very smooth with it. He is so impressive. Since his win in Catalunya, it's unlocked a confidence in Danny Holgado that MotoGP teams will be looking at the moment.
Just a note of caution, though, he was chased down late on in Misano by Barry Baltus. Quite dramatically,
true,
wasn't he? So I just wonder, keeping the eye on it for Danny Algado. I hope he hasn't gone out too fast too soon. Nonetheless, this is, for a rookie, remarkable what we're seeing from Algado this season.
Yeah, it really is. The number 27 doing proud again in the intermediate category, but Holgado, he just, as a rookie, it blown us all away. We didn't expect it pre-season. We thought David Alonso was going to grab all the headlines inside that Aspar garage, but when we spoke to Hervé Poncharal, as Holgado was his rider last year at Moto2, he spoke so well of the young man, how he approached the race and how calm, methodical, calculated, and such a consummate professional. He couldn't say enough good things about him. We're seeing that come to fruition this season.
That's 2 goes round for Gonzalez. By my reckoning now, he's got one last chance to do it on the next lap. He is closing fast on Baltus. A late move there. He takes out the inside handlebar of Celestino Vietti, and he's been given a long lap penalty. I'm sure he will come in on the next lap.
Has to.
Yeah, whether they got the board out in time, but obviously the signal was given on our screens as he entered the last sector, so he might have another go at it. But yeah, it's I don't think Manu's going to do a Max Biaggi and ignore the signal. I think he will go around the long lap penalty lane.
Lap 8.
Danny Algado has a 3.2 second advantage over Tony Arbolino in second. Jake Dixon just adjusting his bike on entry into the hairpin. He's been closing in on this lap on Arbolino. The gap at half a second between the two of them. It was at 0.6 across the line. In this position now, how are you reading this race? Barry Baltus being there. We saw what he did late on in Misano. Unfortunately for Barry, again, finds himself 4.6 seconds down on the leader.
Yeah, he's got good late race pace, typically. And yeah, this weekend, he's had to work at it to get into those lead positions. But yeah, when you're those 4 or 5 seconds down after, what have we got, 8 laps completed in this race, you're not getting back to victory today. We've seen it in Misano. He was a little too late. But yeah, today with Holgado imposing that pace at the front, unless there's a mistake or a big drop in the tyre for Danny Holgado, I think it's a battle for the podium positions.
Mamo Gonzalez takes his medicine finally. Ooh,
was on the
squeezing
limit,
hard as well to make sure he stayed off the green. That should be okay for Gonzalez, but has to rejoin now behind Albert Arenas.
Very
And
windy out
importantly
there.
here, he just doesn't rush trying to get back through, because he has pace and he will undoubtedly have late race pace here.
Yeah, had clearly practiced it throughout the weekend, the way he was able to stop it, jinked the bike a little to the left to avoid the green and exit onto the racetrack without losing too much time. That was an impressive negotiation of the long lap penalty lane for a rider who didn't know who he was entering the race and would have to go around there. That's a young rider who was thinking of all eventualities going into this race today.
Still keeping on with lap 9 of 19. Algado leading Alberino, Dixon, Moreira ahead of Alonso, Boltus, and there's Gonzalez confirmed he has completed that long lap penalty loop. He leads now just by 33 points. Diego Moreira is having a not great day running in fourth position, but Algado completely in the distance by 3.4 seconds. An outstanding performance so far.
As he does so well, but yeah, 2.2 seconds, but also two bikes that it has to manage a way through on. You see how long it can take to figure out an overtake here in the Moto2 category. Both riders are moving fast. It's not like they're going to be easy to pass either Ortola or Albert Arenas today.
Daniel Algado's pace has dropped off, but now he has a gap to manage. We're approaching the halfway point of this race. Just about 9.5 laps down, 9.5 to go. And that gap steadied itself at 3.5 seconds over Tony Arbolino. Jake Dixon still third, Moreira still fourth. David Alonso is still there in fifth. We expect him to have some late race pace, but has Algado judged this one to perfection?
He's put the work in at a point in the race which has given him a comfortable margin, and now at this stage at least he's able to do the same lap times as the chase group, so he can keep an eye on his pit board as long as the tyres stay under him and he hits his markers, just gets into the rhythm that he likes to do at the front of the race. This is classic Algado, what we've seen from him in Moto3, just likes being out there by himself, hitting all his markers and time trialing it all the way to the flag.
On board with your championship leader, Manuel Gonzalez. An eventful race for him, pushed wide in the first couple of corners, dropped down the order, fighting back, battling with Vietti, and then here collided with Vietti. That's brought out a long lap penalty for him and dropped him back into 9th place. You still think he would have the pace for maybe top 7. Has he got enough to bridge that gap to Baltus then?
Yeah, he's got work to do, obviously figuring out a way through on Arenas and Ortola at first, and then bridging the, what is a 1.8, 1.9 seconds gap across to the group. Not going to be too easy in these last 9 laps, but yeah, Manu, he will get his head down and be getting the signals that Cannott's outside the points.
Dixon just got through on Arbolino.
Dixon's up to second.
What's happened there? Is Arbolino run wide?
Yeah, Arbolino made a mistake coming out of the last corner. Dixon's taken it for second place. Jake Dixon now running with a gap now 4.5. So yeah, Arbolino's made a mistake.
We'll see if he's made a mistake or had a moment in the final sector, but yeah, this gives Jake a little bit of daylight now to see, but it's a 4.4 seconds gap to the head of the field, with Danny Algado setting another impressive 49.5 last time around, which took another 4/10 out of the chase pack.
What's happened here for Tony Arbolino? Not too much curve.
Rear off.
Oh, there
you go, rear snaps.
Downshift there, through into Victory Chicane, and it's upset the bike.
Yeah, some people downshift here in the middle of the left-hander. Others do it on the direction change, and getting your foot in under actually lifts and unloads the tyres a little bit. You can see with Tony, his wheels pretty much come off the ground. And yet the man who's had arm pump surgery since Misano, seems like no arm pump causing any issues there, but yeah, certainly just a moment on direction change, but good to see he's fighting fit.
Gonzalez has got a spot. He's got through on Albert Arenas now, so he's...
Yeah, but the yellow's out sector 3, and it's Darren Binder. Presumably that's down at turn 11, but Binder is out of the race.
Unfortunately, he's crashed out. Running in 17th. The South African out of the race. Not quite sure where that is, but I hope he's okay.
sector 3, hoping that's a V.
Yeah,
turn,
9.
which, yeah, we've seen a lot of this weekend, which is typically a fairly innocuous front-end crash.
9 or 10, isn't it, usually? Those sector 3 incidents. Rider okay, we're told. So Dixon out of turn 2 in second. Arbolino look over his shoulder to see Moreira there. Still David Alonso keeping in this one. Still Algado quicker than everyone bar... Well, and everyone.
Everyone, yeah. The only other rider in the 49s is Manu Gonzalez making his way through on Arenas. Everyone else in the 52nd bracket. So Algado able to maintain his rhythm. Yeah, he's got such a good, comfortable lead here with 4.6 seconds at the front.
It would have to be a dramatic drop-off. We saw that in Misano. Wide for Ortola there through turn 5. Yeah, we saw his pace drop in Misano, didn't we? And Baltas came back at him and took second. He came back at Vietti, actually. But at the moment, with 7.5 to go, Algado looks set for a second win. Oof.
I think this is setting up a move up into the corner. We already had a little instant. No, he actually didn't get a good acceleration off the V corner there. So turn 10 a bit too far back on Ortola this time around for Gonzalez.
And the concertina effect just brings Ortola back, and you think there's going to be a chance. But not even down here to turn 11, just too far away for Manu. Oh, wide from Ortola, but it dragged Gonzalez through.
Yeah, Manu was on the curves, both riders sideways drifted in there, but Ortola deep, but didn't really cost himself too much in the final sector. Another little bubble there on the exit of the final turn at victory curve for Gonzalez. Just shows you when you watch the onboards for the concertina effect, where it's difficult around here to set up an overtake.
Right, at the front, 7 to go, gap between Algado and Dixon. They had almost identical lap times. In fact, Dixon quicker by a couple of hundreds for the first time in this race. And this is now the crucial part of the race for Danny Algado. Can he keep it rolling? Can he manage that 4.5 second gap?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that Jake is eking out a small margin over Arbolino, half a second on that lap.
Here comes Gonzalez into turn 5.
Little look across from Ortola, gives up the spot. Thinking about the rider behind as well, making sure they're...
Huge twitch from the 4 as well of Ortola coming out of turn 5. The rear stepping up like crazy. And Gonzalez back ahead then of Ortola for 7th.
Through in this race, Michael, gap was 39. Down to 35 is if things stay the same in this race. I think Gonzalez would snap your hand off if you offered him that after 3 laps of this race.
Yeah, I think so. With the turn 1 shenanigans, the incident there, the potential that you could have been on the deck if something had went completely wrong for him. But it is frustrating that he's arguably the fastest rider in the championship this year. 35 isn't a comfortable margin. You give away 25 with a DNF and all of a sudden it's a 10-point margin going back to Europe. But yeah, Gonzalez, as long as he doesn't give away too many points to Diogo.
At the front, Michael, just have a look at the lap times, because Dixon on that 3rd sector just took another 10th out of Algado's into the 150 bracket for the first time. And Dixon 3/10ths quicker than him on that lap. Now, is that management from Algado? He's still faster than anyone else out there. Is Danny out front, apart from Dixon, of course.
I don't think Algado's managing it as yet. He'll be watching his pitboard signal to see if the gap is maintaining. Once it comes down a little bit, it suddenly swings the pendulum of pressure into his corner. At the moment, Jake sees him up front. He's got that rabbit, the carrot dangling up there that he just wants to chase. And on the last lap around into the 49.8 second range, that's a good lap time from Jake and gives him a 1.1 second advantage over Arbolino. So yeah, he's got his head down, focused on the man up the road a little bit too far at this stage though.
For the home fans, decent ride by Ayumu Sasaki here. Felt like he had a little bit more than 11th, but again it was the start, Michael. Again he found himself knocked down the order. What was it? You were talking to Jarno Janssen, weren't you, early on this weekend about Ayumu?
Yeah, it struggles a little bit with his size, and obviously one of those issues is in the start scenario where you can't quite put both feet on the ground, so it's difficult to balance. And although prior to weight, he gets a good run to turn 1. He can get beat up a little bit in there. And you see here, rounded lap 1 outside the top 10, it's going to be a tough ask to get back into those podium positions. But he's had the speed this weekend, so a lot of positive signs, but just still some little areas for Yubu to improve.
Yeah, just ask Manuel Gonzalez. You're having trouble on that first lap, and it really does condition your race. There he is in 7th. Autola behind him. Oh, Albert Arenas has to go wide there.
Getting it very wrong.
Stamping on the rear brake. I see him every single time down into turn 11. Arenas sideways dropping in there, and he's under pressure from Colin Fire.
Yeah, it looked. You could see how he straightened the bike up and went straight for the apex. It was a panic braking scenario into turn 11, so he did get something wrong, and again into turn 1.
I think, oh, and again he picks it up late.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Could there be a front tyre thing?
Yeah, we do often hear it from the Moto2 riders that the front tyre can start to give best in the latter laps of the race, start to fold under, push a little bit at the apex. And on these pictures from Arenas, you would say he's having a few struggles when he's hanging on to the front brake on the way into the turn.
Yeah, Tony Arbolino looks a little bit nervous through turn 5 as well. That will give encouragement to Moreira there. That wasn't quite right for Tony. The front pattering from Moreira. Is he setting up a move here?
He's going
the Brazilian
for it.
Comes through.
On the inside line, and Diego Moreira gets ahead of Tony Arbolino for 3rd position with a beautiful move on the inside line at turn 6 and 7. Slips it through and now moves up, and now that's brilliant. Moreira now brings it down to 32 points in the championship.
Stage, he just struggled to match Jake after Jake came through, and now Moreira is making the move. He's going to fall into the clutches of both Alonso and Baltas before too long.
And of course, for the championship, that gives Moreira a few more points, 3 more from 4th to 3rd. 13 points for 4th, 16 for 3rd, 20 for 2nd, of course. At the moment, Danny Algado is just going to be able to cruise to the line here. It's been a brilliant performance. Hardly seen him since he took the lead right at the start.
Yeah, he and Jake on those identical lap times means that he is able to control it. Obviously, Jake's got a comfortable-ish gap over Moreira, and you can see even with Baltas got Gonzalez giving chase, but 1.6 seconds back.
Do you think this is it? It's post-surgery, perhaps, probably, and he can't finish off the corner. It looked like through the victory chicane, it was just like, it's almost if he was struggling, and a shake of the head. He moved his elbows out.
Possibly, yeah. Obviously, the arm pump surgery normally gives fairly instant relief in terms of the compartment syndrome, the pump-up scenario that you get in the race, but he's still got the wound to deal with, and the arms might feel a little bit tender here in this race. But yeah, he's certainly struggling with something, whether it is front setup or arm conditioning at this point. And once again, into turn 5, has to give best.
It's got to be the front tyre, hasn't it? Struggling in right-handers. Basically, Tony Arbolino, he's suffering. That's where he's having the problems. At the front, we just saw the gap. Daniel Algado has taken nothing away from him. He has been excellent today and looks on course to take a 2nd win of the season. There's Moreira in 3rd. David Alonso's come through now. Is there any way of him getting back to Moreira? Behind Arbolino, 5th. Baltas, 6th. And then Manuel Gonzalez, half a second quicker than Baltas and Alonso in front of him. So Gonzalez not giving this one up yet.
No, it was a good lap from Gonzalez, matched the pace of Algado and just a tenths, and Jake, who was the quickest last time around. I do think there's a couple of positions here on the offering for Manu Gonzalez, 3 and a bit laps, and you can see at least Baltas and Arbolino certainly struggled at this point, but getting across to Alonso might be the difficult one. So even for Manu to get these 2 positions up ahead, although we know Baltas isn't an easy rider to pass in the latter laps of a race.
Yeah, there he is, Baltas on the number 7. Of course, 4th in the championship.
Oh, and Ramirez has got ahead of Sasaki for 12th position, just at the end of the last couple of corners there. So he has made the move. 3 to go here in Japan.
With the Belgian. Arbolino in front of him again. Arbolino squeezing everything he can to get it stopped and turned through 1 and 2.
Again, Jake, the fastest rider last time around, took another couple of tenths out of Algado, but just gets the gap under 4 seconds. It's not going to be enough with the pace that Algado's running, 50.2. That's still faster than pretty much everyone else. Yeah, it is actually faster than everyone else on track, so Yeah, I think he's got things under control.
Yeah, full credit to Algado. Barry Baltus making shapes behind Arbolino, half a second quicker than the Italian on the last lap. But keep an eye on Gonzalez behind, who's also coming through. Every point can be crucial as regards the championship. We've seen today how fortunes can change in an instant.
Yeah, Cannott's just got himself into a point-scoring position down in 15th, but tough weekend at the business end of the season for Aaron Cannott. He needed to be doing what his teammate Barry Baltus is doing today and being up inside the top 5, top 6, but yeah, it's not worked for Aaron Cannott around Motegi.
On board with Baltus. Arbolino in front, goes really, really tight. Baltus now will try and drive to have an opportunity into turn 11.
He spun up there, compromised his exit, gives Gonzalez an opportunity.
Gonzalez going to come for it. Is he going to go for it? He is.
Wastes no time whatsoever.
Excellent. Excellent from the championship leader. Oh, big moment though on the change of direction. He knows that he was under pressure then. And so just parked his bike in the middle of the corner. No way through then for Baltus. I think Gonzalez will have a good go at Arbolino with 2 to go. On that last lap, Jake Dixon has taken a full second out of Danny Algado. The gap's under 3 seconds all of a sudden. It couldn't be this late in the race. Danny Algado surely managing things now.
I believe so, yeah. But 49.9, Jake's certainly pushing on whilst everyone else is in the 50-second range. But I do think it's Algado just rolling the pace slightly back to a high 50. He's got the signal from his team. He can roll it off a second a lap and still win with a comfortable margin.
Not always the easiest to do though, is it?
No.
If you're starting to feel your front tyre, perhaps. Here comes Gonzalez now on Arbolino. Good late pace.
The cutback is there for Tony.
No.
No.
You thought he tried it, didn't he?
Yeah. Just a little.
Let's not forget that Tony Arbolino is just coming back from arm pump surgery, so it might not be the front tyre that's dissipating. Maybe he's just running out of energy. That's also a thing that you need to consider. Arm pump surgery takes it out of a rider, and at this circuit here at Motegi, you feel it the most of all of any other circuits because it's so demanding with the long sweeping corners you have to hold the bike for.
Split any moment now. 2.6 seconds at the top of your screen. It was 2.9 across the line between Algado and Dixon. Too little, too late for the Prix, you would say. 2.5 through the third sector. Really good ride from the rookie.
And a really solid ride from Jake Dixon as well.
Yeah.
He's put 3.4 seconds into Moreira and Alonso riders who've had similar pace up throughout the weekend.
And I don't know what happened in Misano. Jake didn't know what happened in Misano. Had the pace for the podium, and after being pushed wide early on, the tyre just destroyed itself.
Yeah, never seemed to come back to him, and yeah, he just didn't quite understand what happened on the day, which can sometimes an anomaly goes your way, whether it is a tyre or a temperature shift that just makes things not quite work for you.
Yeah, and but obviously had that podium in Barcelona, so in terms of pace, the pace has been there in recent rounds for Dixon. He'll look to sign off his Moto2 career with a win in these remaining races.
It was another 49.9, so Jake metronomic here in this race. It's been such an impressive run of laps, but Algado did respond back from his previous 50.9, got it down to 50.3 last time, so yeah, he's just responded a little up the ante to make sure he goes home with a comfortable win today.
Danny Algado won that in that sequence of laps, about lap 2, one of the fastest laps of the race. 2, 3, 4, that won him the race.
Yeah, the decisive move to the front, and it then dropping the hammer. He had the confidence to use a little bit of tyre at that stage in the race just to eke out a gap, follow his pit signals throughout the race, and yeah, that's an impressive way to go about your business from Danny Algado once again, like he did in Catalunya.
Yeah, well, we just had news that we're going to have Algado withdrawing from today's MotoGP race due to ongoing issues after his crash at Misano. But for Daniel Algado, it's going to be another race victory that again is in a very critical time in Moto2 as we see the battle for third going on still. Moreira holding off Alonso. Daniel Algado has controlled Moto2 to absolute perfection. He crosses the line, shakes his head, and wins the Japanese Grand Prix. And he is absolutely delighted with himself. Jake Dixon is second, Diego Moreira is third, David Alonso fourth, Manuel Gonzalez takes fifth position as well. What a fantastic race for Daniel Algado. He wins the Japanese Grand Prix in superior form. Gonzalez finishes fifth over the line, and unfortunately not much can be done there as Aaron Canet down to the last points paying position in 15th. The gap down to 34. He lost just very little points.
Here at this moment, another victory, a second one. He's had such a good run over recent rounds, a commanding victory and an impressive performance from the runner-up, Jake Dixon, today.
Yeah, Algado, Dixon, Moreira, your podium. Manuel Gonzalez down in fifth after a long lap penalty. We'll analyse and dissect everything that went on as we come back from the break here in the Moto2 Grand Prix in Japan.
What a race. Daniel Algado then is victorious, with Jake Dixon second, Diego Moreira in third, David Alonso fourth, Manuel Gonzalez fifth, Tony Albarino sixth, Barry Bolter seventh, Ivan Ortola goes in eighth, Albert Arenas ninth, and Colin Vire has 10th. Alonso Lopez in 11th, with Marcos Ramirez 12th, Philip Salak 13th, Amon Sasaki in 14th, 15th coming into it as well. For Aaron Canet, 16th Adrian Hoyetas, Alisas Crane 17th, Yuki Kuni 18th, Hoy Navarro 19th, 20th for Yuratai, Arode, Mario Arjun 21st, Guevara, Binder, Roberts, Vietti, Igas, Munoz and Van der Gerberg out of the race, but Daniel Algado, the rookie, gets his first win in Moto2 in what is a fantastic race. He took off at the all of the race. Pure brilliance there. The championship, well, that now sees Gonzalez leading 238 to Moreira 204. There's a 34-point gap in the standings. That's barely anything coming in to the last few races. Indonesia will be fun in a couple of weeks' time. Then it goes Aaron Canet, Barry Boltis and Jake Dixon as well. So, apologies for a second. I need to stop because my nose is running. To answer Max's comment, Igor has withdrawn from the Japanese Grand Prix for MotoGP because of the incident at Misano. He's still experiencing pain, so Igor has withdrawn from his home event. So there'll be one less out on the circuit. He did walk this morning and decided he couldn't do it, so he is out of the event. But we will head back shortly to TNT Sports, get all the latest news, including that breaking news about Ayagura, and hopefully some more reaction as well from the team. Reminder, we're back on air at 45 minutes past the hour. So that is ready for the next one. But right now, let's head back over to Gavin alongside Michael. And then we've got Neil down in the pits as well with Susie. Let's head back down then and join the team.
Good morning and welcome back to the Grand Prix of Japan in Moto2. Manuel Gonzalez being patted on the back as he comes home after 5th place, given a long lap penalty, pushed wide off the start from pole position. Very eventful race for the championship leader. Diogo Moreira, meanwhile, somehow has taken a podium out there today to close the gap on Gonzalez, but smaller than it might have been at one point in that race. Jake Dixon was a brilliant second. 1.3 in the end was the gap between himself and this youngster, Daniel Algado, who wins for the second time this season. You just wonder if Dixon, just in those early stages, if he could have been able to get through a little bit earlier, might he have had a little bit more. But nonetheless, a very good ride into second.
Yeah, 100%. I think the last 5 laps, he was within a tenth of a second every lap around. It was an impressive performance, a really solid rhythm. But yeah, it's those early laps where these Moto2 races are currently being decided. If you can get a small advantage, as this man did at the crucial point in the race, it is hard to get back. Celebrations going on for the Aspar team, Paul Espargaro down there. With young Danny Algado, what an impressive run over the last 5 races.
Yeah, it's superb, isn't it? Second in Austria, 9th in Hungary, where he was up there, but then dropped back. Win in Barcelona, 3rd in San Marino at the Misano race, and another win. So 4 podiums in 5. The rider on form, and in terms of the championship, moves ahead of Celestino Vietti, was taken out by Manuel Gonzalez today. Jake Dixon looks a little bit frustrated with that, having started though on second row of the grid. Solid ride into second place. Take nothing away from Algado though. Supreme. No one could touch him today. Some pain here. You can see, we thought from Arbolino, didn't we? You could just see him changing his riding position when he was on the bike, having had surgery last week. And that'll have been just sheer pain towards the latter stages.
Yeah, we weren't sure if it was front tyre or setup issues, but it looks like it was physical towards the end. The fact that he visibly took his glove off in discomfort. Yeah, he struggled, but he rode well, can hold his head high with that one. I think that's his best result of the season, is it, in 6th?
Well, apart from the second place.
Oh, yeah, but in the wet weather conditions.
Exactly, back in the USA.
But yeah, best dry race performance from Arbolino. That's definitely a step in the right direction here on Motegi.
Sing-song for the Italtrans team and Diogo Moreira. Yeah, in the championship, the gap was 39. It's now at 34 between himself and Gonzalez. He just keeps things alive for Moreira. I'm not sure I expected it, but again, what we've learned this season from the Brazilian is he comes up with the goods on race day.
Yeah, he's, as you mentioned, struggled a little bit in terms of pace this weekend, but when it counted, he's on the podium.
3rd place then for the rider now, clearly second in the championship. Diogo Moreira's with Jack Appleyard.
Diogo, congratulations. Another podium, and just how important could that be to keep the World Championship hopes alive?
Yeah, for me it was nice, the race. I think we work a lot this weekend. This track for me is difficult, so finish on the podium I think is a good lesson for me. So I'm very happy about this. And now we need to keep like this, try to make points and try to recover points. But yeah, I think we need to keep like this now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
6th podium of the season for Diogo Moreira. And that means he is now 15 clear of Canet in 2nd. And still keeping Gonzalez honest. And when it's at 34, it's been a bit like this all season. It's a comfortable margin for Gonzalez, don't get me wrong. But it just shows one mistake, one moment, and a good result for Moreira, and it's back on.
Yeah, exactly. It's not comfy enough yet. You need those 50 points where you can have 2 mistakes, 2 races off, and still be leading the championship. But yeah, that puts the pressure back on to Manu Gonzalez a little bit, just to relinquish a couple of points in the title race to his closest challenger. But you can almost write Canet off at the moment. He's fallen into the clutches of teammate Barry Baldus, only 7 points behind him now.
Excellent from Algado. Moreira, brilliant in 3rd. Dixon looks frustrated, but that's 2 second places in the last 3 races.
Jake, it's been a great weekend. I know it's not the victory you would have wanted today, but a lot to be proud of throughout the weekend.
Yeah, 100%. The team's given it an amazing bike for the last 4 races. In Misano, I was dreadful. I want to apologise to them for that. And here, it just literally, I wasn't good enough in them early laps. I took too long to get through, and as you can see at the end, my pace was really fast. But yeah, too little, too late again. I'm really annoyed with myself. I'm happy in the sense that we're back on the podium, but I'm annoyed for the boys and girls because at the end of the day, that bike was far good enough to win the race today, and I let it down. So yeah, on to Indonesia, and I will be having a go again.
Great ride, well done.
Thank you, cheers.
Well, frustrated. Honest assessment there from Jake Dixon. That bike was good enough to win, and well, if he says it, can't argue with it.
Exactly. He's been harsh on himself there, I've got to say. Starting from the 2nd row of the grid and not being right on the tail of Algado whenever he got to the head of the pack. It was a tall order today, but yeah, his pace, his rhythm, the fact that he put 4.6 seconds into the 3rd place man, I think that was a quality performance all around.
Gets the colour in the eye on the Daruma doll. I wonder if Mark Marquez will be able to do that later. Yeah, it stays uncoloured in for Manu Gonzalez. His hopes not fulfilled here today. A little bit frustrated, perhaps, but in the end, I think 5th, 11th. 11 points, sorry, considering what he's been through today.
Yeah, what happened in turn 1, then the contact collision with Vietti, a long lap penalty. I think coming out with a 5th place score in the end is far from a disaster for Manu Gonzalez.
In recent years, it's been tough for the rookies to move up into Moto2. And I think it's going to sound like I'm diminishing what Danny Algado's doing. Oh, there's Summer down there with Sarah. It's all smiles with Daddy on the podium again. But Algado this year, Alonso up there in 4th place, Ortolo in 8th. I wonder if them all being on Pirelli now, that step may be a little bit easier. We'll see. I don't want to take anything away from what Danny Algado's done. His 2nd win of the season and up to 6th in the championship.
Danny, where has this speed come from? Another incredible performance from lights to flag. Just sum up the emotions.
Yeah. Super happy with the sorry. No, yes. Super happy with the race. I did an amazing pace during the 2nd lap after the overtake to Diogo. Yeah, very happy with the performance because this circuit was a bit difficult for me in the first day. Small crash in the first session, but I was working very hard with my team to improve the feelings. Yeah, very happy. This feeling is amazing. 2 victories, 4 podiums of 5 possible in the last 5 races. I don't have words. This is amazing. Thank you to my team, my family. Vamos.
Brilliant ride. Congratulations.
Some great words as well. You did have some words, Danny Algado. What a run he's having. He's on it at the moment, isn't he?
But you don't need words when your riding does the talking for you. Because, I mean, no one saw this coming. No one expected it. In fact, we've had discussions before he came up to Moto2 saying, who do we think is going to be the star of Moto, the Moto3 rider that's going to be the star? And we all picked him last out of the 4 riders that moved up. And how wrong were we? I mean, just incredible. Just rides perfect. Actually doesn't look that fast, which is usually a good sign. The bike looks stable under braking. He's not out of the seat on acceleration out of the corners. Precise, good under pressure. Got it all.
Yeah.
He made it look easy. He made it a boring race, in fact. He did, didn't he, really? Just checked out, controlled it. And he controlled it. When you have a 4.5-second lead with 6-7 laps to go, you do that, you just roll off. You just lose about 3 or 4 tenths a lap, and you win by just over 2 seconds. Easy.
I think going into that, you said that Manu Gonzalez was the man to beat, and he had an interesting race. Let's have a look at him and Celestino Vietti. Obviously ruined Vietti's race. He got a long lap penalty for this, but this was probably one of the only interesting things that maybe happened.
Yeah, it was a lunge up into turn 10. He'd been behind Vietti for a while, and it was desperate, basically, and you can't do that, obviously. Marc Marquez did the exact same thing, if you think, to Joan Mir on that corner, but there was room. There, Vietti was literally coming into the apex. There was no room. It was always going to be contact. And at that point, obviously, the poor guy on the outside, Vietti, was going to lose out.
Yeah.
So it was a desperate move, which is rare from him because he doesn't make many. He's not a dirty rider. He's not an over. Actually, he probably could do with being a bit more aggressive occasionally, but that was. He hasn't done it on purpose.
No.
He's got his timing wrong.
It's just a shame for Vietti, wasn't it, having won last time out, of course. We saw a frustrating interview from Jake Dixon there. Let's have a look at his progression through then to 2nd place. I mean, it was a good performance, but what does he need at the start? Does he need a bit more self-confidence, or
no?
What is it, do you think?
I just think, his start wasn't actually that bad. The reality was the riders who were around were all riding good, braking late, hard to pass. And whilst that was going on, Algado had that clear track, so he could use those sweeping lines. That was a mistake from Tony Arbolino, just a bit aggressive on the change of direction and downshift. And it's a great shot, this. Look this camera angle of it. If you change direction too aggressive and try and downshift at the same time, it's sort of, the rear wheel goes so much slower, it then sort of grips and kicks off the ground, and he was looking to stay on it.
Yeah, I can hear some high-pitched screams, which means the podium is about to commence. Either that or someone standing on Gavin's toe. Let's go and watch the celebrations.
This is, honestly, I promise, I haven't got the voice for it today. Diogo Moreira ends up onto the podium, as did Jake Dixon with Summer. She gets a spot up there. Steve and Ben underneath the podium as Danny Algado celebrates with his team. His 2nd win of the season. What a choice for Jorge Martinez Aspar to get both of those riders inside his team in Moto2 this year. The future is bright. So the Aspar team take their 3rd win of the season. CF Moto, of course, well represented here this weekend. I've seen a few of their higher echelons of the Chinese manufacturer. Of course, they ride with the Kalex frame, but representing CF Moto. Brazilian fans here as well to celebrate with Diogo Moreira. 6th podium of the season for him. It's the 5th of the season for Jake Dixon. Again, in that race, it feels like, it sounds like from him, what might have been is the way he sees it. And then the Motegi's back again to hand over the trophy. 2nd winner's trophy of the season for Danny Algado. And well on course to becoming Rookie of the Year in Moto2 this season. And he can enjoy the Spanish national anthem up from the top step here in Motegi.
It's champagne time here in Moto2, and Jake takes his daughter off the podium in order to return to spray the Prosecco, and the celebrations begin. What an amazing Moto2 race. Great race, actually. Let's see what MotoGP can deliver. That's coming up next on the main JB Motorsports channel in around about half an hour's time. But also on is the World Endurance Championship at the 6 hours of Fuji. What a race! But also, we've got World Superbikes. Rachel.
Then from 12:30 p.m, it's Superbike Race 2. Toprak has already got the monkey off his back here in Aragon. He got the victory in Race 1 yesterday. Can he do it 2 more times this weekend? Come back and join us to find out.
And you can join Omi and Megan for all that action later on as well for World Superbikes. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.